Hi, my name is Taryn Ramsey. I am a senior at UNT Dallas, and this semester I took Child Development Seminar, and so I just wanted to discuss how this class has really helped equip me and prepare me for future success. So first thing I wanted to cover was discussion boards. So discussion boards have been incredibly beneficial to me, not just because they forced me sort of to check my understanding of the reading and to process my own thoughts, but also because I really need to make sure that I am collaborating well with others and responding with empathy and kindness and compassion, and making sure that I'm truly understanding where another student who is not like me is coming from, where their opinions are coming from, and where their thoughts and ideas and their perspectives of the readings are coming from. And so it really helped me to grow and to learn and to just be better, specifically be better in a classroom setting, to really know how to engage well with other teachers, and then also engage well with parents who may not look like me or come from the same background as me. But they were most beneficial, of course, in understanding really how to implement these things that maybe I wouldn't have thought about without taking this class, such as how to really ensure that I am focusing on the needs of every student and not just one type of student, but every student that walks into a classroom that I am in charge of needs to be seen and heard and cared for. So this, taking Child Development Seminar and understanding the disparities between different types of students was really important, and it was really helpful to me. Creating the Trends and Issues chart was incredibly beneficial to me because it helped me to have a greater understanding of what is really happening in the world of child development today, and what is affecting children, and what is beneficial to children to be a part of, and how can we intervene on behalf of what is happening within health, nutrition, policy, education, etc. It was also beneficial to complete this chart because I was taking a class called Family Crisis, which is CDFS 3310. Taking Family Crisis helped me to be able to better fill out the Trends and Issues chart. It was really mutually beneficial, honestly, because while I was filling out the chart, I was thinking about how these trends and issues would affect families. And then as I was thinking about how it would affect families, I was thinking about how can families cope, how do families tend to cope with this issue? And how can I be someone that's helping families to acknowledge their unhealthy coping mechanisms and then help to work with them to find more positive coping mechanisms. So it's kind of a mutually beneficial assignment between Child Development Seminar and Family Crisis, because these trends and issues can cause crisis within families. And then also, as you're looking at families, these trends and issues are things to look out for within the children that can cause a crisis. Next, I want to discuss the journal article that I completed, which I found an article from a researcher in Turkey who went into classrooms, again in Turkey, and was observing teachers as they allowed their students to have free play. And the researcher observed that some of the teachers, while the students were engaging in free play, were working on different projects that they were assigned to do, or maybe they just were kind of taking a little mental break, or they were observing the students, so they were with the students but they weren't actually engaging, or they were actually engaging with the students. So all of these scenarios were happening, they were occurring, and then the researcher was noticing that the scenario that the researcher saw the students were responding to best were when the teacher was playing with them, was engaging in free play with them. And so that helped me to understand that when students are engaging in free play, when young children are engaging in free play, that it is necessary that the teacher is engaging with them. So they're on the floor, they're responding to when the student says, "I made you something," they say, "Oh, thank you so much." they're engaging with them, and they're helping to nurture their cognitive development, and they're helping to nurture their physical development as well, as they grasp and mix and build blocks, and all of those things are helping with their development. And when an adult is doing it with them, they do it even better. And because I've taken additional courses within child development, such as 3113 infant and toddler development, and so I've taken classes that are discussing theories of development and discussing different ways to engage with young children on top of child development seminar, I was able to really have a good grasp of what the researcher was discussing when I was reading through her article, and when I was transferring the information on her article into my review. And so I was able to give it a good critique and provide solid information throughout my article, because I had a good background knowledge of what she was talking about through taking these additional classes, again, such as CDFS 3113 infant and toddler development, on top of currently child development. So the next aspect that I wanted to discuss was the observation, the notes and the paper, both. So the notes were incredibly beneficial because as I was actively watching and writing down, I was able to really focus on what the teacher was doing and really focus on how the students were responding to the teachers. So there were some times where the students were engaging and responding really well to the teacher, and then other times where they were not. So what I learned was that it is so important to engage well with the students and have fun and speak clearly, and those are things that the teachers were doing well. But what I noticed that both teachers were not doing so well, was they were not adapting to the needs of the students. So the students, by not responding and engaging well at certain times, and then responding and engaging really well at other times, means that they were interested and they were invested in the teacher, but they just didn't understand what the teacher was doing. And so when there's a misunderstanding in the classroom, the teacher needs to adapt to the needs of the students. And so that's what I really learned by doing these observations, by really focusing and tuning into what the students were doing and what the teachers were doing also. And both teachers had a good observation and then one where they didn't necessarily do so well, what I noticed. And when they weren't doing so well, it's because they weren't adapting to the needs of the students. And so that's my biggest takeaway, is that when you're in a classroom, when you're teaching a lesson, you really need to be adapting to the needs of the students. Lastly, I wanted to discuss the group presentation project that we did, where we needed to do research about the statistics surrounding and reasons why young students in their early childhood are being suspended and expelled. And we found that it is mostly Black boys who are being expelled, and that the reasons why are because of behavioral issues that are not really able to be addressed by the teacher, because the teacher just really isn't well equipped. And also that it's becoming less of an issue. Young students getting expelled or suspended is becoming less of an issue, but the fact that it still is an issue in and of itself. And one course that helped me really understand that was CDFS 3423, Family, School, and Community, and then also another one, CDFS 4333, Family Resource Management. It's because education is a resource for families education is it's a resource for families, and so we need to be, as teachers, as professionals, we need to be caring well for that resource and making sure that the family, the school, and the community are all working together in order to provide the best education possible for their students. And that means not getting expelled, that means not getting suspended, especially when you're too young to really have authority over your own actions. 3 and 4-year-olds are too young to have authority over their own actions and to really understand their actions, and it's the teacher's job to help them and to nurture that. And so if we're not doing that well, then we need to adapt. Again, it's the biggest thing. We need to adapt to the needs of the student.